What is happening, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome to the first ever episode of Rise Up Rundown. I'm so excited to start this series with you guys and a little nervous at the same time. Eventually, I'll get all those nerves out, but nonetheless, I do thank you for clicking on that thumbnail, and I hope I can entertain you as much as I can. Just a quick review of what we're going to be talking about in this series. We're talking only Atlanta Falcons, no other team. Even if there's huge drama the whole social media is talking about with another team, unless it ties in with the Falcons, we are only talking Atlanta Falcons. There's new episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Of course, it's on demand, but just letting you know they come out at 11 o'clock. During the offseason, we're going to go over Atlanta's biggest needs and who I think they should get in free agency, who I think they should draft in the NFL draft. We'll maybe even go over draft prospects just to kind of see if they can fit in with the team. And then just some other hot news that's going around the team. And then during the season, that's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to review who we're playing, how to beat them, what to watch out for. And then maybe we'll test Madden to see if they think the Falcons will win. But I guess you can't challenge Madden because they always win. And I promise I'm going to get a more Falcon-y background than this. I'm trying to get a green screen set up so I can be in front of the Falcon Stadium or something. But for right now, that's what we're working with. And one last thing I'm going to mention is that I do have an individual channel and I post weekly Christian motivational content and then just some other fun vlogs, and all of your support would mean the absolute world to me. So links in the description below. Go ahead and check that out. But anyway, enough talking about all of that. Let's just talk Atlanta Falcons. And what I wanted to talk about today was that we should keep Tevin Coleman and pay Grady Jarrett. These are two potential free agents for 2019, and I kind of hate to start this series off in kind of a scary way, if that makes sense, but I think it's a big mistake if the Falcons release both of these players. I know Thomas Dimitroff literally said that there's going to be a lot of changes in the offseason. I just hope they're not done with these moves, and look, unless there's drama that we don't know of that are caused by these two players, if that's the case, then fine, I would release them, but if not, I don't know why you would want to release them, to be honest. But let's start with one player at a time, and I'm going to start with why we should keep Tevin Coleman. I do agree that film is more important than numbers and stats are, but I did notice something about his stats in 2018 and really for the other 2 years before that. In 2018, he had 167 attempts, 800 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Not to mention that he basically averaged 5 yards a carry. You might say that the touchdown ratio should have been higher and maybe the yardage, but when you're on a pass-heavy team with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley, and I guess Austin Hooper because he was a Pro Bowler, 800 yards is pretty impressive. Again, if you're on a pass-heavy team. And if you are talking pass-heavy, Tevin Coleman's stats on the receiving game was 32 receptions, 276 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So in total, that is 9 total touchdowns for the season. I would say this guy was a big need for the Falcons. And you might say, oh, well, he's only the second string running back. Devontae Freeman is the first string. Okay, well, let me talk about what Tevin Coleman did even when Devontae Freeman was in the game. In 2016, he had 118 attempts, 520 yards, and 8 touchdowns. 2017, he did even better, 156 attempts, 628 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So even when the starting running back is in, and you produce numbers like that as a second string running back, I would say that's pretty impressive. And not only that, but I did notice that Freeman kind of has his fair share of injuries. Like in 2015, he got injured for I think 3 or 4 weeks. 2017, he was out for 6 weeks, and he was out for the whole entire 2018 season, basically. So when Devontae Freeman is out, who are you going to have after that? You need to have Tevin Coleman. And I do like their third string running back in Ito Smith, but let's be real, he's not as good as Tevin Coleman, or at least not yet, I guess. So I just think it's a big mistake to release Tevin Coleman, who clearly gets better every single year, and is a big need on both the rushing game and the passing game. If you produce numbers like that with a starting running back in, and you're on a pass-heavy team, and your starting running back kind of gets injured here and there, I would say you need to keep Tevin Coleman. And now let's talk about how we should pay Grady Jarrett. Now, look, Grady Jarrett is not anything like JJ Watt or Aaron Donald, but I think this guy develops every single year. Slowly but surely, I guess. I think he's a great leader for the defense. And if you think about what we can do for our defense, because let's be real, the Falcons are obviously going to get a lot of defensive players in both free agency and in the draft. This draft is stacked with defensive linemen. Think about his leadership that he could bring in with all these new players coming in. Our defense would be unstoppable. And his size is great too. Like, he might only be 6'1" and 291 pounds, but I mean, Aaron Donald is around the same. I think he's only 6 feet, but I mean, look at him. If you can make Grady Jarrett just like him, watch out. And his sacks went up every single year. In 2016, he only had 3 sacks, but he also had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl. 2017, he had 4 sacks, and then he went up 2 sacks in 2018 with 6. This guy, I think, gets better every single year. And then, if you bring in a strong defensive lineman for either free agency or in the draft, think about how strong our defensive line would be. It would be Grady Jarrett, whoever we're bringing in that's new, and then Takk McKinley, who's also developing really slowly. Our defensive line is stacked. And let me tell you, as a Falcons fan, our defensive line was never good in forever. And don't mention Vic Beasley. He honestly fell off a cliff. He will never ever be that sack leading player that we saw in 2016 unless he changes things around, I guess. But I don't think it's going to happen. So bottom line with Grady Jarrett, I think we should just keep him for at least 1 more year. If you want to franchise tag him, I'm okay either way. I think bottom line, we should keep him just to see how he does this year. And honestly, if he does mediocre this year, then fine, I guess I would release him. But I think he just is slowly developing. Let's see how he develops this coming year in 2019. But that's really all I had for today. And whether you agree with me or not, please make sure to smash that like button, blow up the comment section, and definitely hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss any weekly content that I post. Again, every episode so far will only be on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. And one more shout out to my individual channel. There's a link below to where you can check that out. I post weekly motivational Christian content and some other fun vlogs. So all of your support would mean the world to me. And just go ahead and check that out. Let me know what you think. And I promise you, there's going to be so much more to come in Rise Up Rundown. It's only going to get better from here. And just in the sports channel in general, me and my brother are working on some really cool stuff. Stay tuned for that as well. Other than that, I will see you Falcon fans next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Rise up.